Live from New York, the show is wishing you a happy Veterans Day from all of us.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
We're happy to be here. We'll have vignettes and shout-outs from servicemen and women from around the country, so we're very excited. We start the 10-7 Eagles victory. Glass half full, defensive battle. Glass half empty? Jalen Hurts had a touchdown, lost a fumble. What did the Eagles prove last night?
They'll always be interesting.
That's true.
And they are kind of the perfect team for today's media ecosystem and the city in which they play. Because there'll always be, it feels like, some measure of controversy. These days, typically courtesy of a replay of the tush push, where it's like, oh yeah, jumped again. There will more often than not be a little bit of lunacy. Like, wait, Sirianni's doing what? I thought Troy Aikman might leave the booth to go have a stern talking to with Nick Sirianni when he decided to go for that 4th and 6 at the end of the game. There's often some ominous stories, which is once, like, I really enjoyed Troy and Joe, and it seems like they give us a little extra, because all the play-by-play duos get info that they don't then share in those pre-production meetings. And when they were talking with Jalen Hurts and asking about his relationship with A.J. Brown, and then Joe just offers up, it's like, yeah, and I wish you could share what he told you after that story.
Joe went a little far. I bet Troy was like,
exactly. But it just so it will always have all of these peaks and valleys, and usually in a win. And so it's just, listen, if you guys remember after week 1 of the season, I was super down on the Eagles because I was like, ooh, that defense took a huge step back. The defense has steadily improved. The additions, clearly, most notably Phillips, mattered. And the defense more than carried the day. They are clearly an excellent team. They're the defending champs. They played a brutal schedule. They're 7-2. But the offense is weird. And the A.J. Brown thing is more than weird.
Yeah.
It's inexplicable. So it's just who they're going to be. And I just think it's going to continue on the saga of, more often than not, they find a way to win. And you leave the game scratching your head like, what a weird team and a weird game.
yeah, to me, they proved they are the team to beat in the NFC. Now, you might say, well, they're the defending champs, so of course. Yeah. But I think they went out and showed they're the best team in the conference. And actually, I think they're the best team in the league. Like, that was a great win. And you're right, the offense obviously left a lot to be desired. But defensively, they came out, and you mentioned the new additions, Jalen Phillips, 7 pressures. Yeah. They had trouble getting to quarterbacks. And now, all of a sudden, last night they get 3 sacks. They had been averaging about 2 a game. So, that's improved, at least for a night. And Nolan Smith had a sack. Yep. Phillips forced the fumble out Josh Jacobs late in the game. So defensively, like you said, Nick, they're starting to grow. And then offensively, you're right, they're a little bit strange, but
I mean, it's more than a little strange, right?
Well, look, you have games where it's not clicking, and I know they have more. I don't think it'd be as talked about if A.J. Brown wasn't doing his little antics. If A.J. Brown doesn't come out this week and say anything, they're going to move right on. Like, this is a good win. Okay. I think this is a good win. This shows your quarterback, who always seems, when he needs to make a play, makes a play. He made the 36-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. I mean, he came through. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not down on this win at all for Philadelphia. They went into another playoff team, Super Bowl contender, something. I think went into their house and beat them on their own turf. We know it was a grudge match between the two teams. So it was ugly. It was hard fought. But I'll take some of those. Okay.
I'm the Jalen Hurts guy on the show, and I'm the Drake May guy on the show. One's a lot easier than the other right now. And I have I'm not going to totally blame Jalen Hurts, although his numbers this game were not good, and there's passes that are off target that are not necessarily Kevin Petula's fault. But having A.J. Brown have 3 targets, one of them being the final play of the game, which was maybe an arm punt. I'm like trying to maybe if this gets intercepted, we don't hate it because it's at the 1.
No, but the Green Bay knows not to intercept it.
Right.
I know, but sometimes you just grab it and I don't know.
No, it was an indefensible decision that I think Wilds was made because Sirianni was trying to be cute and have nip in the bud any potential A.J. Brown stuff.
It's like, hey, man, we tried to go to it.
Not only
to win it.
But it was right. It's like, yeah, you weren't featured, but you won us the game.
That was the Cowboys script.
And it's the only way Green Bay had a chance to steal it at the end. Like Brew, someone rooting for Green Bay, you were thrilled. They went for it.
Absolutely. But I don't think. You think he did that to appease A.J. Brown?
I think he did it because I thought it was an ego move by Sirianni.
I can agree with that, but I mean, to me, that's not going to appease A.J. Brown.
No, I agree with you. But
if he caught a touchdown to ice the game,
but the A.J. Brown stuff.
The game he tweeted the using me but not use, nothing's going to appease this dude.
At the end of the Cowboys
he could still be like,
game,
I got 3 targets.
It was the same. He was like, you know what? He didn't get a lot, but he got the most important one. That being said, again, am I a flag football championship winning coach? Yes. Don't lay it at my feet. I understand. But I do have some limits. But at the same time, Brew, it's how you were a great wide receiver. We don't even know if you were great.
we made the state player.
You made the state player. But, you've got a wide receiver's mentality. You're out there, you go You got to be able to draw up more than 3 targets for A.J. Brown. You have to. And I'm not saying I could do it, but I'm also not saying I couldn't do it.
Well, here's the argument as to not necessarily that you could do it, but that all of the coordinators before Patullo could.
Just draw up. Hey, AJ, do you have your old playbooks? Can I see one? What'd you like? That's good. Let's do that.
A.J. Brown's career with the Eagles prior to this year. 1 out of 47 games, he had 3 or fewer targets. This year, 2 of 8. That's a problem. I think that this graphic leads perfectly into this graphic, Brew, which is so this is AJ's career with the Eagles. Again, this is...
First couple years there were great.
Yeah, leading the league in targets or something close to it, and a monster production. This year's fallen off. But all of that has led to this 3-and-out number, which can't happen. Look at the quarterbacks and teams, and the Eagles have the highest in the league. A third of their drives go 3-and-out. That is the same as the Broncos, who, by the way, won a 10-7 nationally televised game a few days ago. Now, they weren't playing the Packers, they were playing the Raiders, but we killed them for it. Right? No,
it's a big difference.
Of course it's a big difference. My point is but it's Bo Nix. It's rookie Cam Ward. It's basically rookie J.J. McCarthy / Carson Wentz. It's a little Burrow, a little Browning, and I'm sure Flacco's
one. I'm surprised.
Well, because the 4 games with Browning were so bad. Oh. That's what most of it, because obviously Flacco's been.
Yep.
He's been Joe Burrow 2.0. And then the Browns, who had somehow had bad Flacco, not good Flacco, and now Dylan Gabriel. And the Eagles, who have the most expensive offense in the league. Their skill position guys have been healthy. And I know Saquon struggled this year and struggled again yesterday. He had the big catch.
He had the big play.
But as far as him running the ball was another 22 for 60 or something.
I put that one on Packers defense.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Even though
Lane
Micah
Johnson
Parsons is the worst run defender ever. There's something. Troy's and Joe's comments about asking, they were like, we asked Jalen about AJ's comments. And he would not say anything other than he wanted to win. And then Joe was like, and I wish we could talk about what he said after. It is more than ominous that, yes, there's a Patullo problem, but I also think Jalen's not looking for AJ the way he used to.
That's true.
And again, I agree with you, Brew. They're a great team, but this is weird. The offense is weird.
I don't think Jalen would if there are personal feelings. I have no idea if there are personal feelings between them or issues. I don't think Jalen would let that get in the way. I would assume those issues were there last year when obviously they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Jalen Hurts only cares about winning. But I also think you can approach winning different ways. One is let's make as many explosive plays as possible. If we make a few mistakes, so be it, we'll make up for it. Another approach is make no mistakes, be super conservative, and that the approach last night seemed to be if it's not wide open, I'm not taking it.
Meanwhile, the Packers dropped to 5-3-1. Jordan Love threw for a little over 175, got sacked 3 times, lost a fumble. It just looked.
That was one of those.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just looked.
There are J-No moments here and there. I mean,
first 7 games to last 2 games. We'll focus on last 2. 0-2. Team points are down 17. Passing yards down about 25. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and passer rating.
2 turnovers.
2 turnovers, sorry. And passer rating down from 113 to about 75, Brew. Are you losing any faith?
that was not a J-No game other than that strip sack. It was a J-No. He just didn't have it. There's a difference. And I am losing a little bit of faith. You know, I still, look, the thing with him, and he mentioned the lack of consistency, that's him. You have no idea what you're going to get from game to game from Jordan Love. And maybe even they feel maybe from possession to possession. Like 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh, he was phenomenal. You had no, and you've been kind of, you know, not a little bit of a detractor. And even you were like, hey, that was awesome. I have no problem with him being on Bruce's ballot that week. And then the last 2 weeks, he's been bad. And we've seen him be great for half a season and then bad for half a season and vice versa. So they have one problem. And I'm not saying it's just him, but the offense is the problem. The 3 losses, the defense gave up 10 points, 16 points, 13 points. You should win every single one of those games.
Everybody else does. I'll keep going. Just show my graphic about, here's the league this year, when you allow 17 points or less. The Packers have lost 3 games. I think we can show it. The Packers have lost 3 games. They're 1-3 when allowing under 17. The rest of the league is 62-5, and the quarterbacks who have lost those games, you look at it and it's like, oh, okay. So it's guys we have real questions about, and Jordan, who's done it 3 times.
Yeah.
So
and the thing, you could obviously, it's interesting. Geno's had great moments.
Yeah.
Kyler's had great moments.
CJ.
So has Stroud.
Yeah.
But yeah, the defense is great, and they got to find a way to fix the offense. There are other issues. The offensive line hasn't been great. The run game, I think Jacobs is still great, but he just hasn't even averaged 4 yards a carry this year, so that's been an issue. But the success or failure of the offense always comes down to the quarterback, and he is just we have a graphic here. He's really struggled against the pressure. Like, that's been the main thing. And last night, he was pressured. So look at this. Versus no pressure, he's phenomenal. And a lot of those ranks are top of the league or second, third best in the league. And then the pressure ranks, you see he really struggles, passer rating, those are near the bottom of the league. So, we see quarterbacks like that, Jared Goff and some others, but he's going to have to get better against pressure and be more consistent.
Go ahead, Kato.
Well, I was going to show you this headline for your reaction. We were going to kick this around. It was going to be one of our main topics before Nico Harrison got fired. Why Packers Matt LaFluer might be coaching for his job after the loss. This took me as surprise.
It shocked me too, and then I thought about it.
Okay.
The last year with Rodgers, they missed the playoffs. 2 years ago, they're the 7th seed. Have a shocking round 1 win, but they're the 7th seed. Last year, they're the 7th seed. This year, it's them, Chicago, and San Francisco. At least one of those teams is going to be left without a chair, barring a collapse from one of the top 6 teams, which would shock us. It would shock us if Philly's obviously going to be in because of the division, Tampa, same thing. But if the Rams, Seattle, or Detroit, you know what I mean, miss out. There's 5. So there's 2 spots available for Green Bay, The Niners, who have just been consistently winning and have, a fortunate schedule. And Chicago, who I think is most likely to end up without the chair, but they get.
But they're fortunate, and they still gonna have to fight to make it. That 7th spot feels like it's right there.
Right, but so the question is that though, and why I think
Right,
that if they're the 7
spot.
seed, if the year Rodgers last year they were the 8 seed, then they go 7 seed, 7 seed, 7 seed, and 2 straight years one and done in the playoffs. When keep in mind the article talks about Gutekunst and LaFluer. Next year would be the last year on their contract, so you either extend or fire. Like that's how the NFL
The
works.
owner said he doesn't, the leaders don't really believe in lame duck.
Right.
coaches
No,
like
no,
we
but
did
no
last
good
year.
franchise wants your head coach on it. The Cowboys are the only team that's like, and the Bengals.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll let them do the final year. So I think that is, and I do think, Brew, I said it the day they traded for Micah. Jordan Love's the most intriguing player in the league. If Jordan Love this year is the 10th best quarterback in football, they can win the Super Bowl. If he's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football, they should win the Super Bowl with that defense. Right now, he hasn't been one of the 10 best.
No.
And
Not
the offense,
consistently,
and now that you also have no Tucker Kraft, you worry about what the team's going to look like.
Loss,
But,
yeah.
I mean, that offense having 0 points into the fourth quarter is just unforgivable.
Jordan Love's passer rating without Tucker Kraft, 92, with about 107. So
No, that was a huge loss.
All right, moving to the world of the NBA. Mavs owner Patrick Dumont was at his first Mavs game this year, heard the fire Nico chants, and finally said, okay. Nico out after 9 months after he traded Luka to the Lakers. Dallas 3-8 this year. Brew, your reaction to this news?
I remember saying, you guys probably remember the day after this trade was made, or I don't know if it was that morning whenever we were on Next. The only way to justify this trade was for them to win the championship within the next 2 years. Last year they didn't even make the playoffs. This year they're looking like they probably weren't going to make the playoffs. He was fortunate and lucky, really, that the ping pong balls bounced their way, and then a third way or a second way emerged for him to kind of work his way out of this trade, and that was if Cooper Flagg became, and I apologize for comparing him to white guys, but became Larry Bird or Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
And Cooper looks like he's going to be good, but he don't. And he may eventually become a
But
Doncic.
not in this timeline.
No, they came right into the league and right away were like one of the best players in the league. And he's not that. That was the only thing that could save him, because then at least you could look at it like, okay, we gave up a superstar future Hall of Famer for a younger one.
And I would have argued
we don't know at this
that
point.
shouldn't have saved him at all because it's dumb luck.
It would have been luck, right. It wouldn't have been
It
his
wasn't
plan.
the plan. They
Right.
didn't. It's not like they got Cooper with one of the picks they traded Luka for. It was just dumb luck. But and I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
if you
no,
wanted
no.
listen, it's simply the worst move an executive has made in sports in 100 years.
It's hard to argue.
It's simply that.
I can't think of a worse-
And his
a worse
hubris and quotes after the fact, if the trade itself didn't fully do him in, they did him in. How many times do we have listened to defense wins championships? You're 3-8. You right now have the number 3 defense.
But what
in
do you?
basketball.
I hear you. What would you have rather him? Like if you make that type of trade, you got to make it with your chest.
No, fair enough. Then maybe it's not his comments. It's just the rationale. They have right now, this moment, the Dallas Mavericks have the 3rd best defense in the NBA, but they have the 29th best offense, so it doesn't matter. Because in professional basketball, the most important thing in the league is what Luka provides. Offense. Now, to win a championship, you also need defense, but you cannot. They built a team around Luka's skill set, and then they didn't have Luka anymore, and the team immediately falls apart. I also don't give him a pass on the injuries.
No.
The moment you trade Luka, Kyrie played 40 minutes a game for a month because he's the only creator. He gets hurt. You trade for Anthony Davis, whose biggest knock is his injury history.
He's played 14.
out of
Anthony
40,
Davis,
right?
14 out of 44 possible games.
And by the way, you now have to consider trading him.
Yeah, that would be the move I'd be
That's
looking to do.
interesting.
So this is
Just try to go young.
I don't think people have fully realized not only what a disaster this is for Dallas, people know that, but the butterfly effect for the rest of the West. Because Dallas does not they have their own pick this year. And then in 2027, their pick goes to Charlotte. They don't own it. And in 2028, they swap their pick with the Thunder. And in 2029, their pick goes to the Rockets. And in 2030, they swap their pick with the Spurs. So the Mavs might
They're
be
swapping a first-round pick in 2030.
30 with the Spurs. And in 2.5 years, they're swapping with the Thunder. And the year in between, they're giving theirs to the Rockets. The three teams that are potentially going to be at the top of the West are going to have the Mavs first-round pick at the end of the decade.
Well, that's why, to your point, they should look to trade AD. See if there's a team that thinks it's close
and get rid of AD.
And honestly, they should look to trade Kyrie too. I mean, if they can, and Kyrie obviously is a great player. Again, a team that's close. See if you can get
also, while we're at
and then
it,
just go young.
Let's have Clay go back to the Warriors. I just don't. Poor Clay is languishing.
It's not working out.
Yeah. Listen. I mean this, and I know it's just sports, but it's not just sports. Like, people that love sports. And it really does impact, like, your mood and how you feel. And the ability to follow a team and follow a player. What this guy's hubris or ego or own basketball malfunction in his brain did to Mavs fans is one of the saddest things I've seen in recent sports. Sad is what I mean. We are used to in sports. There's a chance a player's going to get mad and demand out. Like, we got it. We were prepared for that. But if you were a Mavericks fan, you were just like, can you imagine, KW? Imagine if in 2 years and 2 more top 5 MVP finishes, you wake up one morning and Elliott Wolf traded Drake May.
Yeah.
And it's like you just don't get to follow him anymore.
Yeah, great, but hurt all.
For Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, okay, but
when healthy,
or just a defensive stalwart.
It just feels like it was something was stolen from you.
Yeah.
Because
it felt like it shouldn't be allowed.
Yes.
It sounds weird, but it's like, you're like kind of taking a piece of the community.
Yes.
That
franchises go decades without getting a Luka Doncic.
Coach, you're here. You wanted to honor a veteran close to you.
Yeah, I want to honor my dad. Carmine Mangini was a proud member of the U.S. Navy and served in the Korean War.
Well, that's an amazing picture. The slight resemblance there, Coach. If I may honor once again my wife's grandfather, who's become my grandfather as well, Chief Master Sergeant William Abram Jones, who's still with us, still travels with us, hangs out when he comes to New York, and is now also a great-great-grandfather, and met his wife in the Air Force, did 30 years, and is probably watching right now.
And he still looks good.
He does. He does. He still does his 25 push-ups every morning.
Does he really?
Yeah, 95 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to honor 3 of the 4 most important men in my life, along with my brother, my 2 grandfathers, Burley Broussard, Leonard Beauregard, who were in World War II, and then my father, who was in Vietnam, Edward Broussard. They're all passed away now, but great men that molded me and shaped me. So
excellent.
Salute to them.
Before we get back to the show, I wanted to send my thoughts to everyone from my hometown, Groton, Connecticut, submarine capital of the world. We also have the Coast Guard Academy there. So I wanted to, they're in my thoughts all the time, but I also wanted to say one other thing. When I was growing up, we always had kids that had come to school from different parts of the country because there's a lot of Navy families. So you get kids coming from San Diego, you get kids coming from Virginia. And I never realized until I became a father the shared sacrifice of the families of veterans and people in the military. whether it's, if your mom is out and your dad's, holding down the fort, or your dad is out, which a lot of times the fathers would be out on submarines. And, my wife was gone for the weekend and I was lost. So the idea that you'd be out for, months at a time serving the country, it's a shared sacrifice. So happy Veterans Day to all the veterans and their families.
Beautiful, KW.
Oh, thank you.
You're such a sweet guy. KW got choked up saying that.
No, it's
You're
very
just,
nice.
such
I didn't
a
realize
nice
because
guy.
I was like a kid, and then as I became a father, I was like, man, I forgot these dads would be out for months at a time, and it was just like normal because you got used to it.
Yeah.
And like once you're a dad, like wow, it's a real sacrifice, a shared sacrifice for an entire family. And well, thank you for I don't really deserve much. It was just shouting.
Yeah, no, it's very
all
nice.
the credit.
Yeah.
Back to first things first. Joe Burrow returned to practice yesterday and told Jay Glazer that he is aiming for a return around Thanksgiving, but not necessarily on Thanksgiving. We still haven't landed on a hairstyle, but we haven't. There's just a lot.
He was fresh off Wright. He had his helmet on, everything.
We're just rolling the dice out there every few months. Are you buying his optimism?
Of their chances, no, because as the Bengals are presently constituted, they won't be any better with him. Now, Flacco falls off. Brew.
He's going to fall off.
But as they are presently playing, they have scored 80 points in their last 2 losses. 80. I mean,
Flacco did have 2 picks last game.
Brew,
I know he had 4 touchdowns and 500 yards.
Yeah, Brew. I mean,
just saying.
They have scored 42 and 38 in their losses. Like, their problem is not quarterback play.
It does make
Now,
sense.
what I will say is this, Brew. This is a little unintentional dig at your Ravens. And also, I think, by happenstance, bad news for your Ravens. Because this is setting up for, if it is true that he's going to come back after Thanksgiving, the Ravens on Thanksgiving are going to have to deal with Joe Flacco thinking, this might be my last start of my career. On Thanksgiving, I am chucking this sucker deep all game, and then you're going to have to deal with actual Joe Burrow a few weeks later. But no, I think the Bengals are cooked, and I don't think their problem is quarterback play.
Well, look, Flacco, I think by my estimation, has one great game left.
Well, he's saving it for Thanksgiving.
No, but
He's
his going
saving it for-
stinks.
okay.
It'll be this next game, and then he'll turn back into a pumpkin. So by the time they play the Ravens, he'll be throwing the ball to the opposing team. But I'll be honest. I mean, if I'm Joe Burrow, he's got the right attitude. Like, it is wide open. I mean, they are 2 games behind Pittsburgh, who they play, and and as someone rooting who picked the Ravens, yeah, I'm a little more concerned with with Burrow playing.
Freudian slip.
If Burrow doesn't play, I feel like those are 2. They have no room for error, obviously, but those are 2 games they should win. They should sweep the Bengals. If he plays, now they swept them last year, but it was 41-38 in overtime, and it was 35-34.
So
those were the scores. The Ravens beat the Bengals twice last year, but with Burrow playing, it was separated by 4 points in both games.
They scored 38 points and lost with Joe Burrow, like they did with Joe Flacco 2 weeks ago.
I mean, you want to make this a kill Burrow thing, but I'm just saying,
I'm just saying their problem
Burrow
isn't
makes
quarterback
them
play.
a lot more dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And he will bring, even if Flacco's playing well, Burrow will bring more hope, more belief, more confidence in that locker room. Like, they will be, I think the Ravens still can obviously sweep them. They did it last year. But it makes their road a little bit tougher.
I absolutely agree with Joe Burrow. The division's wide open, just not for them. It's not for them. And to Nick's point, 42 points, 38 points, and 33 points in the last 3 games. That's a 37.3 average. So what's Joe Burrow going to be good for another field goal? So they'll get to 40? That's not the problem. 32nd in yards, 32nd in points, 32nd in rush yards, 30 in passing yards, 29th in sacks, tied for 25th in takeaways. So they really
Weren't they
done a
the
good
same
job there.
last year, though?
Yeah, they weren't
And
good
they
enough.
I'm just saying they made a push. They were dangerous.
Totally get it, but we're not looking at a team that has not scored a ridiculous amount of points and still found a way to lose. And unlike Baltimore, it doesn't seem like they're getting any better.
Oh, no,
if anything, they're fine.
worse.
The play against Chicago to lose the game, I mean, just brutal.
So that was so bad, but it doesn't seem unfixable. Does that make, like, it's just, you're not making tackles.
Look, you
think they
want to
have
look,
bad
you want
But
to
they don't have bad.
This has gone on for a year
I know,
and
but
a half.
but they have NFL quality players.
Just bad.
I would
NFL.
think I would imagine if you were there, you have to try something dramatically different. So when you're having this level of bad results over and over again, maybe it's got to be 70% blitz, 60%, but with something dramatic. Because how do you want to die? You're bad right now, so why not go take some shots, try to blow up the other team, try to create some havoc with the hopes that you get 2 or 3 stops so that your offense can go and win the game because you just outscore them.
In fairness, I think that kind of is what they tried against the Jets, which is the only way the Jets can then go score 39 points. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is they've run out. They were like, it's Lou Anarumo's fault. How's he doing in Indy? Right. Seems okay.
Well, he was terrible last year.
The players are bad.
How can the players be this bad?
What? Somebody's got to be 32nd.
Well, it doesn't be them every year.
Well, I mean, if they don't change it, they didn't change players. They ran everything back. They said, we have this awesome offense, this terrible defense. What if we have this grand strategy of just paying our offensive players more money?
I know it doesn't make sense. The only thing is, it feels like other defenses get hurt, and all of a sudden, wow, 3 guys are out, 4 guys are out, and there's a next man up mentality. So you have guys who are starting who aren't starters in the league.
And they play better than
and they play better than the Bengals.
It's the culture.
Oh,
I know you don't like when I say that. It's true. There are teams that have a defensive mentality and a defensive culture, and they just are good defensively.
What do you want to do?
They don't care about defense. They pay all the offensive players.
Look, the guys who are on the defense obviously care about the defense, and the coaches care about the defense. But it is one of those situations where when you're in a hole this big, it's not a question of just stop digging, like some people say. You're going to try some different things. And maybe that's why they lost the Jets, but you can't just leave it the way it is. I agree. And maybe you just take some chances. You got to take some chances because this way is not working, and you are probably going to put up 30, 35 a game.
Just hear me out.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. We don't have enough time. We got to get to Brian.
I want to hear you out.
We're about to say something dumb.
Say it.
He's about to say something dumb.
Jamar Chase.
Put him on.
I'm just saying, you can track the ball. Desperate times, Jamar.
I told you he's going to say something dumb.
And get him hurt.
Yeah.
He's not tough enough?
Okay, come on.
Just
Let's go to
Daboll.
Daboll.
Get him hurt.
I saw the look in your eye. I tried to save you. I knew it was going.
We got to do something. Well, then let's just lose, I guess. That's the other option.
I'll try coach's way. Let's just blitz.
Sean McDermott was asked about reuniting with former Bills OC and Josh Allen sculptor from just a raw piece of clay from Wyoming. Brian Daboll. McDermott not interested. Go ahead.
So, I have a take for you, Coach, that I think you might like. Maybe you'll hate.
Okay, I can't do it. There we go.
No, but this isn't put your all-pro receiver at defensive back because the Patriots did it with Troy Brown once.
And Julian.
A little bit different pay scale back
all right, so if people don't Tyler Dunn, who I like a lot, I bring up a lot on the show. He has the great Substack, Go Long TD. He wrote the long-form piece on the Caleb piece was him. He's also the one that wrote the McDermott piece a couple years ago that got a lot of traction because of the piece of it was the 9/11 reference, but also it talked about the dysfunction within the locker room and between McDermott and Josh or the offense. And they talked about Brian Daboll in it. And here is a reference from it that kind of leads into my take. Thus, it's impossible not to ask one longtime Bill, there's a player who's close with all 3 individuals. One question. Did Buffalo keep the wrong coach? There's nothing but dead air on the other end of the phone for 13 seconds. Do I need to continue my silence, this player said, or are we good? So I thought about that when Tyler tweeted it out.
Awesome way to respond.
Right, yesterday. And this is because I mentioned, hey, could they bring him back in the fold? You bring him back in the fold now, it undermines Joe Brady
Yeah,
entirely.
yeah.
You can't do that. Also seems like there was friction between he and McDermott, he being Brian Daboll. Also, Josh Allen has picked his last 2 offensive coordinators. Like, he has had a real say in it. The question I have is this. If the Bills don't win the division, which right now they're favored not to do, and if they, for the first time in the Josh Allen MVP-ish era, go out in round 1, and they fire Sean McDermott, because I think we all believe they probably would if they lose in round 1 of the playoffs. Would Brian Daboll, head coach of the Buffalo Bills, be a real possibility? Because Josh Allen loves him, and arguably he's played his best football with him. Obviously, Daboll would do it. There's not a question there. Do you think that is pie-in-the-sky nonsense or something that is on the board of possibilities?
Look, I don't rule out anything being a possibility. The first thing I want to say about friction between him and McDermott, so Brian was with me. He was my assistant in the secondary when we were in New England. Then he was my quarterback coach at the Jets. Then he was the offense coordinator for me at the Browns. He is not a friction guy. He is not a guy that's going to create any kind of problems on a staff. So that the idea that there's friction between him and the head coach, that's not how he's wired. It's inconceivable for me to imagine that was the case. Will he defend the things he believes in? Yeah, but he's not gonna undermine anything that the head coach is trying to achieve. In terms of him going back there in the short term, I get why people are talking about that, but if anything, he needs to decompress a little bit, get away from football for a while, and then if he wants to go back somewhere, go back a little bit later in the season. I think New England would actually be a great place for him to go back and consult for a while. They're probably going to win the division. And let's say the Bills don't want him back. It'd be a nice place to go back to if the Bills didn't want you back, to just be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll help out here for a little bit. So there's that. In terms of him becoming a head coach in Buffalo, when you do transition head coaches, there is an element of having to sell to the fan base. So it's a little bit tougher sell based off the way that things
But I think Bills fans love him. Because they feel like he helped Josh become Josh.
I can tell you definitively, nobody loves Buffalo, the city of Buffalo, more than Brian Daboll. He was raised there. He is a proud,
Buffalonian.
Buffalonian. So that would be great from a, hometown hero coming back. It's just whether the ownership could sell it. And if you're an owner that doesn't care whether or not, how people perceive you, and you're going to make the move because you think it's the best, then so be it. Robert Kraft did that by hiring Bill Belichick a long time ago when Bill was very much out of favor nationally.
Yeah, no, that Belichick's a great example because, look, I think Daboll, he obviously did a very good job his first year with the Giants, and I think he could go somewhere else and do a very good job. But with the Bills, you guys know a few years ago I was saying if the Bills don't get it done this year, McDermott should go. I think McDermott's a good coach. It seems to me like even if they do go out in the playoffs again in bad fashion, they just seem like they are going to keep McDermott, to me. Now, maybe I'm wrong. So I think he's there. He obviously said the right thing about we're not considering Daboll now. But if they go out in the first round, even if they just don't make the Super Bowl and the offense is a problem, I could see getting rid of Bray. I could see bringing Daboll back as an OC and with Josh. Now, and again, if McDermott ever got fired, then could he? Yeah. You can't see him as an OC?
I don't know. He just doesn't. I just think he's going to try to get a head coaching job.
He might, but we've seen a lot of former head coaches go back to being coordinators, and I think that would be the case. And I think Coach is right. Nick, it better work. You better win the Super Bowl if you bring in Daboll after how it went with the Giants and you fire McDermott to bring in Daboll. I don't see that happen.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.